Oh golly, Moon Gang, we have a lot of hot tea to go over. This is Dumb Money. I'm Matt, and I want to get right into it because we have a lot of important things to unpack. Yes, AMC did close out the day today, June 9th at 49.34, but as you're about to see, that's hardly the important thing we need to discuss because a lot of things came out today that I think are going to get you pretty excited. So with that type of amazing lead up, let's hop right into it. So this was released by the AMC leadership team today, their press release. You can find this on their website, and we got more information about the shareholder count. So we previously knew in early June that as of June 2nd, there was about 502 million shares outstanding. Remember, shares outstanding are shares in existence. Well, we have new information. Out of those 502 million shares, there's about 4.1 million individual shareholders. And don't forget that the next shareholder meeting is July 29th. And if you own shares on the date of record, which was June 2nd, you will be able to vote as early as June 16th. Now, with all that being said, here's the interesting line I really want to bring to your attention. Once again, you can find this yourself. Feel free to fact check me. It's on the AMC's website right here under Newsroom. More than 80% of AMC shares are held by a broad base of retail investors with an average holding of 120 shares. Matt, why does this matter? Well, let's hop into a little bit of math, and just so you know, this isn't my own math, but I want to share it with you. So right here, if you look at it, AMC at the current price, total shares 502 million. Well, when you look at retail, major holders and insiders, short interest and insiders, looks like we have 174% ownership. You know me, I'm just a data guy. I just want to present the data to you, and I would appreciate it. You could just draw your own conclusions. But man, I think it's a bit weird that we have 174% ownership. Absolutely crazy. And I don't know. I think we're at the level where it's worthwhile that for let's say that there was some sort of government entity. I'm just going to come up with a weird acronym right now. Let's call it the SEC. I don't know. I picked 3 random letters, but I would think that it's worthwhile to look into 174% ownership. Kind of interesting, worthwhile for them to look into it. And once again, you could take your own conclusions from this data. And a special shout out, man, where did that go? That was posted by Joshua. That's not my own graphic. I want to give that. I'll post his Twitter below so you could check it out. I seem to have lost it. Another interesting piece of juicy data came from Ortex today. Shout out to Ortex. They've had the ape SPACs, and I want to dive into this. They tweeted this out today. For May 28th, the exchange is reporting short interest in AMC at 102.3 million shares. This is a larger number than expected. It indicates a higher than anticipated short interest in AMC. The unexpectedly high short interest implies that the shares returned in this period were atypical, not shorted shares, but instead shares that were borrowed and not shorted. In many of my videos, I try to remind you of this, we have up-to-date information on the shares on loan, but just because they go on loan doesn't mean that they were actually shorted. Yes, they're correlated, but it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. There is some leeway, and the leeway that Ortex was giving was kind of too big, and I can show that graphically in a second. Ortex will update the estimates tomorrow based on the latest exchange release data. When they release this tomorrow morning, depending on when you're watching this, and June 10th, when they release it around 7:30 in the morning, I will make sure to tweet it out from my account. But here's actually what's going on. So basically, today, the data was released today, but it was valid information on May 28th. So if we check that out, the exchange reported short interest was 102 million shares, but at that moment in time, Ortex, their machine learning model, their data analytics model, was estimating 85.5 million, as in they were underestimating it by a rate of 20%. So now, because they were off by that much, like previously they've been spot on, it's moving every single day. It's a very dynamic system. Sometimes they've been spot on, other times there's a bit of a leeway, and that's what we're seeing. Before, they overestimated it, and their calculations kind of went a little bit too much the other way. Basically, they weren't expecting for such a large amount of shares to go on loan without actually being short. So the mass return that we've been seeing recently, we're not short shares, as in the shorts are still in the play. The the shares returned. I will repeat that so I can be crystal clear here. Many of the shares that were on loan and returned were not actually short against AMC. That is very, very good news for the Ape Nation. So tomorrow when this updates, I will tweet out the new short interest. So right here, it is showing 11%, but this is an underestimate of what's actually going on. And right now that actually utilization can be, this is accurate, 82%, because that's just shares on loan. That doesn't relate to that does not relate to short interest, excuse me. And so we're going to see the estimate. So overall, not only do we have kind of some weird indications of what it means to have 170+% ownership, but on top of that today, we are actually seeing that the main data source we're using to get the short interest right here, it's going to go higher tomorrow. So overall, it's an amazingly good day to be an ape. And one thing I just don't want you to forget about right here that I could bring up, look how long they've been in this. Every single day, these shorts, the hedge funds betting against AMC, are clearly hemorrhaging money. They have been in this for almost 2 months. So if you look back at the chart to see where that was so long ago. They're clearly underwater. Yes, of course, there are some new shorts that might be up on the position, but overall, the majority of shorts have not only been paying the cost to borrow fee, but on top of that, just the position as a whole is clearly underwater. And on top of that, we're just discussing the legal, legitimate, reported shorts. This has no indication of what's going on with the illegitimate, illegal naked shorts. So the way I look at it, I think it's easiest to perceive the situation in this way. If you look at the trend of the chart, the fundamentals of AMC, and the data provided by Ortex, and you like the situation in terms of yes, I still feel comfortable with the short squeeze, that's awesome, because when you then add on naked shorts, that's just the cherry on top. It's better. I would view the current situation of what we know that's accurately reported to us to be the conservative estimate. And if you like that situation, it just goes up from there. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. So in terms of the chart, this is the daily chart. Remember, over the past month, AMC is up 406%. And ever since we really started this rally on May 21st, we are still up over 300%. So over 300%, ask yourself, after rallying 300%, do you think it's okay to take a 21% healthy correction? Personally, that's okay in my book because I understand how incredibly insane this run truly was. So it's okay. Stock market, it loves to expand, consolidate, and that's exactly what we're seeing. It expanded, we're now consolidating, and in fact, you can actually see how perfect this consolidation has been. A couple of things I want to point out here. This is AMC's 30-minute chart. Huge expansion, and now we see this symmetric triangle. Lower highs, higher lows. The fact that the stock isn't really trending, that is a classic sign that it's just consolidating. We had a massive expansion, lower highs, higher lows, now consolidating. We are perfectly in this wedge. In fact, today, 1, 2, 3, our fourth hit off this bottom wedge, and also previous technical support. And on top of that, the RSI is getting low. Don't forget RSI, Relative Strength Index. It's one of the most popular technical indicators, and it just oscillates between 0 and 100. When it gets very low, below 30, that's a lot of bearish momentum. It's considered to be oversold, and then the opposite is true above 70. So basically, not only is there technical support at the price level of 45, we have this wedge, and now it is oversold. So from a technical perspective, a data perspective, and a fundamental perspective, I am insanely confident in being an ape right now. I am insanely confident. So what I'm looking for moving forward, just in the short term, what I'm going to be personally looking for tomorrow is a bounce and a test once again up of this next price level around 52, which could potentially align with the top of the wedge. After that, I'm looking for a wedge breakout, and the next major test would come at 60, where it's been rejected a couple times before, rejection, consolidation, and even support back here on June 2nd. So these are the major price level that I'll be paying attention to tomorrow and for the remainder of the week. With all that being said, Yes, these are my own opinions. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a fortune teller. So please do your own due diligence. I'll make sure to post the links in the description below so you can see the same resources that I am personally seeing. But I would love to get your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, if you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, it would be appreciated if you comment, like, subscribe. If you want to be a member of the Moon Gang, it just helps get this video in front of other people who may be potentially interested. And until I catch you next time, for me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.